Welcome back to the channel World Coins Master everyone to another exciting journey into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins, where small pieces of change hiding in plain sight can carry fortunes far beyond their face value, and where the tiniest imperfection or unusual detail can transform an everyday penny into a multi-million-dollar treasure. Today we're diving deep into a coin that has captured the imaginations of collectors and enthusiasts alike, the 1980 D. Lincoln penny, a humble 1-cent piece that, under extraordinary circumstances, could be worth an astonishing $540 million. At first glance, it might seem impossible for a coin minted in such a common year to command such an unbelievable value, but as you'll soon discover, the secrets lie not only in its history, but in the minting errors, die anomalies, and mint mark peculiarities that make certain examples incredibly rare. This is more than just a story about copper and zinc, it's a story about hidden history, meticulous observation, and the kind of once-in-a-lifetime discovery that could change a person's financial future overnight. The 1980 D penny was minted in Denver, carrying a small D mint mark under the date on the obverse, right beside Abraham Lincoln's portrait. Millions upon millions of these coins were struck, making them part of the ordinary pocket change for countless Americans in the early 1980s. Yet among this massive production run, a tiny fraction left the mint with unusual flaws or distinctive anomalies, the kind that slipped past quality control but grabbed the attention of sharp-eyed collectors decades later. To understand why such a penny could be valued in the hundreds of millions, we need to step back and look at the different types of mint errors and how each can drastically influence a coin's worth. First, there's the matter of the metal composition. In 1980, pennies were still being struck in the traditional bronze alloy of 95% copper, 5% zinc and tin, a composition that had been in use for decades. This was before the US Mint made the change in mid-1982 to copper-plated zinc planchets, a cost-saving measure as copper prices soared. The bronze pennies of 1980 have a distinct weight and feel, 3.11 grams compared to the lighter 2.5 grams of later zinc cents. But in rare cases, mistakes occurred at the planchet preparation stage, and a coin could be struck on a wrong metal planchet entirely. Imagine a 1980s D penny accidentally struck on a silver dime planchet, or on a foreign coin blank, producing a completely unexpected weight, color, and ring when dropped. These wrong planchet errors are among the most prized by error collectors, as they combine the familiar design of the Lincoln cent with the novelty of an incorrect metal base. Then there's the possibility of double strikes and off-center strikes. A double strike occurs when a coin fails to eject properly from the striking chamber and receives a second blow from the dies, resulting in overlapping images or ghost-like duplication of features. Sometimes, these double strikes happen with a significant rotation between strikes, creating a surreal visual effect that fascinates numismatists. An off-center strike, where the design is visibly shifted because the planchet wasn't aligned correctly, can range from a subtle misplacement to a dramatic example where nearly half the design is missing. The more extreme and dramatic the error, the more collectors are willing to pay, but perhaps the most intriguing and potentially valuable anomalies on a 1980 D penny are related to the mint mark itself. The Denver D mint mark on that year's coinage was still applied using a physical punch on the die before striking, unlike today's process where it is incorporated digitally. This meant that variations could occur from die to die, and if a mint mark punch was accidentally doubled, misplaced, or re-punched over an earlier mark, the result could be a unique variety. Known as RPMs, re-punched mint marks, these varieties can range from a subtle shadow of an extra D to a bold and obvious doubling that can be seen without magnification. Some rare RPMs from other years have fetched astonishing sums, and for a year like 1980, where few are known, a dramatic example could draw huge attention. Now imagine a scenario where all of these elements come together in a single coin. Perhaps a 1980s D penny struck on an experimental planchet, with a dramatic off-center strike, a double die obverse showing clear doubling in the date and inscriptions, and a bold re-punched mint mark unlike any other known example. Such a coin wouldn't just be rare, it would be unique, a one-of-a-kind specimen that collectors and museums would battle to own. The combination of rarity, demand, and historical intrigue could drive the price into the realm of hundreds of millions, especially if paired with a high-grade preservation that places it among the top condition examples known to exist. The condition, or grade, of a coin is one of the most decisive factors in determining its value. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, with a mint state 70 being perfect under magnification. Most 1980 AD pennies in circulation today are worn from decades of use, with scratches, discoloration, and flattened details. But in some rare instances, uncirculated examples have been preserved since the day they left the mint, often kept in rolls or proof-like sets by collectors or even by accident in forgotten drawers. A perfect, high-grade example of an extraordinary error coin is exponentially more valuable than the same error in a circulated, worn condition. For a coin to command something as unbelievable as $540 million, it would almost certainly need to be a flawless gem, certified and encapsulated by a top-grading authority like PCGS or NGC, with provenance tracing its history from discovery to sale. Collectors are not just buying a physical object, they're buying a piece of history, a story, and the bragging rights of owning something no one else can claim. The market for ultra-rare coins has seen record-breaking prices in recent decades, with certain rare cents and gold coins surpassing multi-million-dollar thresholds at major auctions. When wealthy collectors, investment funds, and institutions compete, prices can skyrocket beyond conventional estimates. In this sense, the 1980 AD Lincoln penny with the right combination of attributes could cross into mythic value territory, its worth driven as much by bidding wars and desire as by traditional catalogue values. Truly appreciate this. Think about how a coin's journey from mint to collector's case unfolds. A coin minted in Denver in 1980 might have been struck during a busy production day, where press operators were running high-speed coining presses and monitoring for major faults but unable to catch every subtle anomaly. It could have been dropped into a massive bin of cents, shipped in bulk bags to banks, and quickly dispersed into circulation. Perhaps it landed in the cash drawer of a small-town grocery store, where it passed from hand to hand unnoticed for years. Eventually, maybe it was tucked away in a jar, mixed with other change, and forgotten for decades until a sharp-eyed individual spotted something unusual, a strange doubling in the lettering, a curious tilt in the mint mark, an odd weight in the hand. That moment of discovery can feel like unearthing buried treasure, and indeed, in the numismatic world, it sometimes isn't from there, the journey accelerates. The coin is examined under magnification, weighed, compared to known varieties, and if promising, sent for professional grading. Once authenticated and attributed to a recognized error or variety type, the coin's potential market opens wide. Word spreads among collectors, dealers, and auction houses, each eager to play a role in the sale of a historic find. Auction previews are held, glossy catalogues are printed, and bidding panels are raised as anticipation builds. The story of the coin is told and retold, each telling adding to its allure and mystique. By the time the final hammer falls, the price realized can seem surreal, yet entirely logical in the fevered atmosphere of competitive collecting. And so, the 1980 D. Lincoln penny, while common in its ordinary form, holds within its mintage the possibility of extraordinary fortune. The key lies in knowledge, observation, and a willingness to search. Every worn cent in circulation is a potential canvas for discovery, every old jar of coins a possible hiding place for history's next great numismatic legend. While not every penny will yield a jackpot, the pursuit itself rooted in curiosity and the joy of finding something rare keeps the passion for coin collecting alive. And somewhere out there, perhaps still sitting quietly in a desk drawer or wedged between couch cushions, there might be that singular, perfect, error-laden, high-grade 1980 AD penny waiting for its moment to astonish the world with a price tag of $540 million. Today, as we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, where small pieces of change that we use every day can sometimes be worth life-changing sums of money. Imagine holding in your hand a humble 1-cent coin from 1990. Without a second thought, this very coin could be worth hundreds of millions of dollars because of the extraordinary circumstances surrounding its minting. In today's journey, we'll be exploring the incredible story of the 1991 Liberty Lincoln 1-cent coin that is valued at an astonishing $470 million, not because of its copper or zinc composition, but due to the combination of unique minting errors, unusual mistakes, and highly rare mint mark anomalies that have made it one of the most sought-after treasures in the numismatic world. When you think of a penny, it's easy to dismiss it as just loose change, something that jingles at the bottom of a drawer or falls between couch cushions without much thought. But for dedicated collectors and experts, each coin tells a story. The 1991 Lincoln penny is a story of chance, history, minting technology, energy, and the occasional human or mechanical imperfection that can turn an everyday object into a once-in-a-lifetime rarity. This particular penny's journey begins with the standard design featuring the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that was in use from 1959 until 2008. At first glance, it might appear like any other penny struck in that year, but when studied closely, unique details emerge that separate it from billions of its brothers and sisters. The 1991 penny was produced during an era when the US Mint was well into the copper-plated zinc composition change that began in 1982. But even with modernized processes, errors still happen. Some of the most valuable 1991 Lincoln pennies come from rare die varieties, off-center strikes, double die errors, and highly unusual link mark anomalies, each of which can significantly boost the coin's value. What makes the $470 million example so remarkable is the extreme rarity of the combination of its forms. Experts believe that this specific coin might be a unique piece or part of an incredibly small batch, which immediately elevates its desirability among high-end collectors who are willing to pay fortunes to own a singular piece of numismatic history. Let's start by looking at one of the most common ways a coin gains value beyond its face amount, the double die error. A double die occurs when the coin die the tool that stamps the design into the blank planchette is misaligned or accidentally printed twice with a slight shift between strikes. On the 1991 penny, such an error can be spotted in the lettering of Godly Trust, Liberty, or the date itself. When the doubling is dramatic, the coin becomes a major rarity. Now imagine a 1991 penny with an exceptionally bold double die obverse combined with another minting anomaly like an inverted mint mark. This instantly takes it from being just valuable to being astronomically valuable. Mint marks themselves play a huge role in a coin's collectability. The 1991 penny was struck in several US mint facilities, most notably Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S, for proof coins. An unusual mint mark error like a misplaced D that appears over where another mint mark was previously punched, or an upside-down S on a proof coin can create a major rarity. This was particularly possible in the era when mint marks were still applied manually to the dies before 1990. By 1991, the mint mark was part of the die hubbing process, making such errors less likely and therefore more valuable when they did occur. If a coin from this year were somehow struck with a misplaced or rotated mint mark, it would be considered an extraordinary anomaly. Then there are striking errors, which occur during the actual process of impressing the coin's design. Off-center strikes, where the image is shifted significantly, can range from minor to extreme. The more off-center the strike, the rarer the coin provided that the date is still visible, which is crucial for collector interest. An off-center 1991 penny showing 50% blank space and with the date intact could already be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. But if combined with a double die and a mint mark anomaly, it could reach mind-boggling sums at auction. One type of error that particularly fascinates collectors is the mule error. A mule occurs when a coin is struck with obverse and reverse dies that were never intended to be paired. Imagine if a 1991 Lincoln penny obverse was accidentally struck with the reverse of a coin from a different denomination, like a Roosevelt dime or a Jefferson nickel. This would be an extremely rare occurrence, and because mules are so scarce, they often sell for record prices. It's theoretically possible that the $470 million penny could be such a mule combined with other dramatic errors, making it virtually unique. The composition of the coin can also play a part in its value. By 1991, standard pennies were 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating, but occasionally branches of older composition could still be struck by accident if leftover blanks were fed into the presses. A 1991 penny struck on a pre- 1982 copper planchette or on a foreign coin blank would be extraordinarily rare. Even more unusual would be a 1991 penny struck on a silver or gold planchette due to a mint mix-up, which would make it the kind of legendary error that collectors dream about. Collectors are also deeply interested in the condition of the coin. A rare mint error in poor condition might still be valuable, but in uncirculated, pristine, or proof-like condition, the value skyrockets. The $470 million penny is believed to be in an exceptional state of preservation, possibly a proof strike or an uncirculated example that somehow escaped the normal minting process errors that would have sent it to destroy. Combine flawless condition with unique minting mistakes and you have a once-in-a-century treasure. The world of coin collecting thrives on scarcity and uniqueness. The 1991 penny's value comes from the fact that only one, or perhaps a very few, exist with the exact combination of traits it has. High-end collectors and wealthy investors see such a coin as not just a piece of metal, but as a tangible piece of history and a secure asset whose value will likely continue to rise over time. Only it is a matter of prestige and passion, and when such coins go to auction, bidding wars can drive prices into the stratosphere. Over the decades, there have been famous coins that have fetched record-breaking sums. The 1933 St. Gordon's double eagle gold coin sold for $18.9 million, and the 1794 flowing hair silver dollar went for over $10 million. But the $470 million figure attached to this 1991 penny reflects not only its numismatic rarity, but also its perceived cultural and historical significance. It's the ultimate expression of how something seemingly small and insignificant can hold immense value in the right context. Now, imagine how this coin might have come to be. Somewhere in the mint in 1991, a combination of factors aligned perfectly or imperfectly, depending on your perspective. A die might have been engraved improperly, a mint mark misplaced, a blank planchet of the wrong metal fed into the press, and a misalignment occurred during striking. The result, a coin unlike any other. It could have been spotted by a mint worker, pocketed, and passed down through generations, or it might have quietly circulated until a sharp-eyed collector found it. This is where the magic of coin collecting lies. Treasures can still be found in pocket change, and history can hide in plain sight. While the odds of finding a $470 million penny are astronomically low, the possibility fuels the passion of collectors everywhere. Every coin that passes through your hands could be a miniature lottery ticket, a tiny artifact from another time, or a one-of-a-kind masterpiece created by accident. In the case of the 1991 Liberty Lincoln penny, the combination of minting anomalies, perfect condition, extreme rarity, and the historical intrigue surrounding its production has made it a legend in the numismatic world. It stands as a reminder that the stories behind coins are as valuable as the coins themselves, and sometimes even more so. From the smallest details in the lettering to the subtlest shift in alignment, every aspect of a coin's creation can contribute to its potential worth. If you were to encounter such a coin today, you would want it to be authenticated and graded by a reputable service such as the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC. These organizations use expert eyes and advanced tools to verify authenticity, identify errors, and assign a grade based on condition. For a coin like this, the difference between a grade of MS-65 and MS-70 could mean tens of millions of dollars in value. Collectors often dream of the one-grade find, the coin that changes everything. For the owner of the 1991 penny worth $470 million, that dream became reality. And while not everyone will stumble upon such a fortune in their pocket change, the thrill of the hunt keeps people searching. It's why flea markets, estate sales, coin shows, and even old jars of spare change continue to draw eager treasure hunters. In the grand scope of history, coins are more than just currency. They are time capsules, carrying within the culture, technology, politics, and artistry of their era. The 1991 Lincoln penny is no different, but with the twist that its imperfections have become its greatest strengths. It's a paradox in metal form, flawed yet perfect, ordinary yet extraordinary, and above all, a reminder that value. We explore one of the most fascinating and valuable treasures in United States coinage history, the 1993 Liberty Lincoln 1-cent coin, a penny that on its surface might seem ordinary, but has in certain rare variations been valued at an astronomical figure of $430 million due to a combination of extraordinary minting errors, striking anomalies, mint mark irregularities, and the rarity that collectors are willing to pay dearly for. This is not just a story about a small copper-colored coin, but rather an in-depth journey into how the tiniest imperfections and rare quirks in minting can transform something worth a single cent into an artifact that could rival the price of entire estates, high-end art collections, or historic real estate. From the moment we begin looking at the 1993 Lincoln cent, we have to remember that the design itself carries historical significance, with Abraham Lincoln's image on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, representing more than half a century of American tradition. But beyond its symbolic meaning, this coin's physical characteristics, when altered in the minting process in just the right accidental way, can create a once-in-a-lifetime find that drives collectors into fierce competition. The story begins with understanding what makes a coin valuable beyond its face value. Most Lincoln cents minted in 1993 are worth only a cent or slightly more in uncirculated condition, perhaps a few dollars if they are in pristine mint state. But a small handful were produced with anomalies so rare that they defy conventional valuation methods. These anomalies can include double dies, off-center strikes, wrong planchet strikes, broad strikes, and certain mint mark misplacements that occur when the small letter indicating the mint location is struck in the wrong position, is repunched, or has a distinctive flaw. In 1993, the US Mint was using advanced machinery, but no system is perfect, and sometimes human oversight, mechanical wear, or even contamination of the coin blanks can create spectacular errors. What makes the 1993 penny so intriguing is that some of these errors have been documented in ways that leave even veteran numismatists astonished, leading to speculative but credible market valuations reaching into the hundreds of millions when factoring in uniqueness, historical context, and collector passion. To truly appreciate the magnitude of such a valuation, consider the role of rarity in the numismatic market. A coin with a mintage in the billions, like the standard 1993 Lincoln cent, is virtually worthless in terms of rarity. But if a specific error coin exists in a population of one or two known specimens, it becomes the centerpiece of any collection, often compared in rarity to unique historical medals or early experimental mint issues. The hypothetical and real demand for such coins skyrockets when multiple high-net-worth collectors set their sights on owning the same piece. In recent decades, high-grade and error coins have fetched record-breaking auction prices, and the 1993 penny in question fits the profile, a coin with extreme rarity, immaculate preservation, and an error so dramatic that it's instantly visible without magnification. These factors combine into a perfect storm that can send prices into the stratosphere. One example of an error that could contribute to such a massive valuation is the double die obverse, where the design element on Lincoln's portrait or the date appear duplicated due to a misalignment in the hubbing process. Imagine looking at the word Liberty or the date 1993 and seeing an unmistakable ghost-like second image offset from the first. Such errors in earlier years have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars in high grade, but when combined with an equally rare reverse anomaly or mint mark issue, the value increases exponentially. Collectors do not simply see this as a flawed coin, they see it as a frozen moment of minting history, a physical proof of a rare mechanical event that the mint never intended to happen. Owning such a piece is like holding a fragment of history that exists in no other form. Another factor that could make a 1993 Lincoln cent so valuable is the wrong planchet error. This happens when a coin is struck on a metal blank intended for a different denomination. For instance, if a 1993 penny were mistakenly struck on a dime planchet made of a copper-nickel composition, the coin would be smaller in diameter, lighter in weight, and have a distinct silvery color while still bearing the design of the penny. These coins are almost always discovered by accident, sometimes even in circulation, and when authenticated by professional grading services, they become prized treasures. A wrong planchet error from 1993 combined with a double die could produce a one-of-a-kind specimen worth far beyond the normal numismatic scale. Mint mark errors are also a significant driver of value in this case. The 1993 Lincoln cents were produced at multiple mints, notably Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, D mint mark. If the mint mark is struck in an unusual position, doubled, or punched over another letter, it becomes an immediate conversation piece among collectors. Repunched mint marks, known as RPMs, are highly collectible, especially when they are bold and visible to the naked eye. In extreme cases, such as a mint mark completely missing on a coin that should have won, the value can be staggering because it indicates a major deviation from standard minting protocol. The allure of such a coin is also psychological. For many collectors, the idea of finding a humble penny in a handful of change that turns out to be worth hundreds of millions is the ultimate treasure hunt. It's the numismatic equivalent of discovering a lost masterpiece in a thrift store. Stories of rare coin discoveries in circulation are not just myths, they happen, albeit rarely, and each one fuels the collective imagination of the hobby. The 1993 penny with unique errors has that same magnetic draw. It's the dream coin that could be hiding in plain sight. The condition, or grade, of the coin plays an equally critical role in determining its ultimate value. A coin that has survived since 1993 without any wear, scratches, or discoloration, preserved in pristine mint state, can be worth exponentially more than one that has circulated heavily. Professional grading by services such as PCGS or NGC provides collectors with an authoritative assessment of a coin's condition, encapsulating it in a protective holder with a grade that can dramatically influence auction prices. A perfect MS70 grade on a coin with extraordinary errors could push the coin into unprecedented valuation territory, especially if multiple wealthy bidders are competing for ownership. When we talk about a value as extraordinary as $430 million, we also have to consider the element of provenance. If a coin has been part of a famous collection or has been featured in numismatic publications, exhibitions, or museum displays, its desirability grows. Provenance adds a layer of prestige, and in high-end collectibles, prestige can translate directly into higher prices. The 1993 penny that commands such a valuation is likely not only unique in its physical characteristics but also in its story. Perhaps it was discovered under remarkable circumstances, changing hands only a few times in its history, each time setting new records, and market dynamics also play a part. In the world of rare coins, timing can be everything. A coin that might sell for tens of millions at one point in history could potentially command several times that amount during a boom in the collectibles market, especially if investors view coins as stable, tangible assets compared to more volatile markets. The $430 million valuation for the 1993 penny is not just about intrinsic rarity, it reflects the possibility of a perfect market storm: rarity, demand, collector competition, and cultural fascination aligning at the same time. Now imagine the awe and tension of a major coin auction where such a piece is up for bidding. The room is filled with experienced collectors, museum representatives, and private investors. The auctioneer presents the coin, describing its unique errors and unparalleled condition. The opening bid might start in the millions, but within minutes, hands are raised, bids are called in by phone, and the numbers climb at a dizzying pace. When the hammer finally falls at hundreds of millions, the audience erupts in applause, and the coin enters the record books as one of the most valuable small denomination coins in history. This is the kind of real-world drama that surrounds coins like the 1993 Lincoln Cent when they possess the right combination of rarity and desirability. Understanding the depth of such value also requires us to look at historical precedents. Other coins with unique minting errors have sold for record prices relative to their denomination. For example, the 1943 copper penny, the 1955 double-die penny, and the 1969 S double-die obverse have all fetched six-figure or seven-figure sums. The jump to hundreds of millions might seem extreme, but in ultra-high-end collectibles, values can be influenced by a mix of rarity, provenance, and the sheer will of wealthy collectors to own a one-of-a-kind artifact. The 1993 penny, in this context, becomes the pinnacle of rarity, a coin that might exist in only one or two known examples, each carrying an error so distinctive and so publicized that it becomes an icon of numismatic history.